Hey y'all, Candace here from Little Steps Big Happy. I talk about health and fitness for moms. So, today I want to cover some quick tips for how to stick to your diet. Most of us who are trying to lose weight kind of know that eating well is important, but it's not easy to stick to sometimes. I have been on more diets than I really like to admit, and I have spent more years than I like to admit trying to figure out how to actually stick with my diet. Knowing what to do and making yourself do it can often be two very different things. So, this video is going to share with you some tips that I have learned to help you stick to your diet. So, tip number one, make a daily meal plan. I cannot tell you how helpful it is to write down each day what you're going to eat. It works for a couple reasons. One, they have literally done studies that have shown that people who write down their intentions are 42% more likely to follow through. So, I don't know about you, but 42% is absolutely worth spending a few minutes writing it down. Two, most of us by the end of the day, we're tired, we're stressed, we're probably all over the place, right? That's the time of day that decision fatigue absolutely sets in. That is not the time of day that you want to be thinking, I know I said I wanted to lose weight, but I'm really tired. What can I eat when all my kids are yelling at me and I'm tired and I just want this to be done, right? Like, you're not very likely to make good eating choices at that time of day. But if you plan it ahead of time, all you have to do is be like, oh, here's what I said I'm going to do. Let me just follow through. Like, I promise you, having a plan and just having to follow it is so much easier than every time you have to sit down for a meal trying to decide what's healthy, what do I have time to cook, what ingredients do I need, and kind of going through all that mental drama. Having a daily plan makes a huge difference. Tip number two is start practicing how to eat mindfully. So when I say eating mindfully, what I mean is you pay attention to a couple of things. Like one, you pay attention to your body's hunger cues and your body's satiation cues. So how can you tell when your body is actually physically hungry for food? And how can you tell when it's had enough? Because honestly, overeating and eating too much is typically the biggest reason that makes most of us gain weight, outside of medical reasons, of course. So learning when your body is satisfied as opposed to overeating is crucial, but that can be really hard to pay attention to if you're not paying attention to your food while you're eating it. You're not going to notice when your body hits that satisfied feeling. A lot of us eat with distractions. Like me, I'm always trying to read a book, or maybe you're working or your kids are talking to you or you're doing, watching TV, whatever. And what happens is we sit down, and even if you know you're hungry, next thing you know, you've eaten everything on your plate. You've barely tasted it, and next thing you know, you kind of got another craving for something else. That happens because you're not eating mindfully. You're not paying attention to your food. You're not paying attention to the textures and the tastes and the flavors. And how's my body feeling? And do I even want this next bite? Or am I just eating it because it's there and I'm actually watching something on TV? So when you slow down, you really pay attention to the way your food tastes, you really chew it, you really focus on it, you'll actually be surprised at how much less you feel the need to eat. It works very well. Trust me, I've tried it. So when you're trying to stick to a diet and you're really focusing on eating proper portions and eating what your body needs to lose weight, practice eating mindfully, slow down, try to eat without distractions, really pay attention to your food. Tip number three is to drink more water. Most of us should probably be drinking around 64 ounces a day. Now, if you're not a big water drinker, I'm not saying you need to start out with 64 ounces. That might be a lot for you, but it's a good goal to work to. And I'll tell you why. When we're thirsty or dehydrated, our body will start sending off all kinds of cues, and some of those can be confused with cravings and hunger cues. So a lot of times people think, I kind of want something, and maybe they go get some chips, some crackers, some snacks. What their body really is saying is, hey, I'm thirsty. So when you make sure that you're getting enough water, it really helps to kind of cut down on some of those hunger signals and some of those hunger cues and those cravings, and you'll tend to eat a little bit less. And it's not like you're depriving your body, but you're giving your body what it actually needed, so it's not encouraging to eat food. Also, drinking enough water really can help your body recover really well from exercising and working out. So sometimes people who get really sore, it's because their bodies are just a little dehydrated. And tip number four is to be realistic. This might be hard for some of y'all to take. I know when you're very eager to lose weight, you're tired of maybe the way you look or the way you feel, you're kind of like, I'm ready for it to be gone tomorrow, maybe even yesterday, and so I want to do the perfect plan and what is going to be the fastest thing to get me there. I need to go all in 110%. That sounds great on paper. but it is ridiculously unrealistic to stick to. It's not very sustainable. Most people can't make complete overhauls and changes to their lives on the drop of a hat, especially if you don't have something serious that's kind of urging you to lose weight. So it's important, if you want to kind of learn these skills and habits and keep them for the long term, that you be realistic when you get started. So kind of like I was talking about with the water thing before, drinking 64 ounces of water is fabulous. But if you're not ready for that, starting at 32 ounces, great. If you're not ready for that, start at 16. But as opposed to being like, tomorrow I'm going to drink 64 ounces of water, even though I haven't had a glass of water since I don't even know when, you're probably going to struggle and it's going to be hard. And that is kind of where a lot of people get into this thought process. I can't do it. It's so hard. It's miserable. I'm never going to get there. And people get very frustrated or defeated. What you need to do is be realistic. Start with where you're at, and then what's a slight improvement from that? What's something that's a little bit challenging but doable? As long as you're sticking within that challenging but doable zone, you're going to start improving. You're going to create better habits and you're going to move forward, but you're going to do it in a way that's sustainable, that helps you kind of feel motivated and inspired because you can actually achieve it. There's nothing that leaves us more frustrated and down when we try to do something and we can't do it. So start with realistic goals. Sometimes you got to break your big goals down into smaller bits, and that's okay. I know sometimes people think, well, that's not good enough. Like, that's not going to get me there. What's really not going to get you there? Doing something you can't do, right? Or becoming so frustrated and so done and so down with yourself that you don't even want to try anymore. That for sure is not going to get you there. Trust me, been there, done that, did not work. But pick the small goal, and maybe that goal by itself is not enough, but that gives you something that you can build on. And so when you master that, you move to that next bigger goal, and then you master that, and then you can move to the next bigger goal, and eventually you'll get there. But I'm telling y'all, a little bit that you can stick with is more effective than something that sounds perfect, sounds super effective, it's the perfect diet that you won't eat for more than a day or two, because it's such a big change from what you're currently doing. Okay, I got a little excited there. That is absolutely one of my kind of things that I see people do all the time. And then it gets me a little worked up because they get so frustrated because, like, oh my goodness, it's not working and da da da. And it's like, well, that was a little unrealistic from your current habits. So be realistic. Start with what you know you can do that's an improvement on what you're currently doing, and then you can build from there. So those are 4 of my favorite tips and the things that have helped me the most when trying to stick to a diet. If you want to learn more, definitely go check out my blog. I have got tons and tons of articles and information for any mom who is trying to lose weight, get fit, get in better shape, and really focus on your health and fitness. I hope you're doing well. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.